Hey everyone, welcome back. This is my review of Argevollen, Episode 3. And what I have to start out this review by saying is that I'm not going to drop this series, but I really think that it needs to pick up. There's a lot of issues I have with this series, with the series so far and with this episode in particular, okay? And I'm going to get into them. Really, there's not a whole lot happened. Like, this episode just zoomed by. So one thing I do have to say, the pacing is not that great. The pacing isn't nearly as bad as in things like, Mahoka and what Black Bullet was last season. But the pacing is still kind of bad. It's not the greatest pacing ever. I really wish that the pacing was better. So, no episode summary. I'm just going to get into what I, really don't like about it. Because there's a lot of things I don't like about it. And not too many that I do. First off, our main male character. There's a few issues I have with him. First off, he is so fucking generic. Like, okay, normally I don't have an issue with that as long as he's interesting, but he's not even that interesting, okay? Like, really, and the simple fact he's able to disobey orders and not get punished for it at all is laughable, really. Because if this was real life, he would be punished hardcore. Maybe killed, depending on how severe the damage was. Most likely put into prison unless the damage wasn't the greatest. Like, even in this is a common cliche in mech anime where the main character, or at least some other character, does disobey orders to save people. But at least they're, punished in some way. Yeah, okay. They might be put in prison for some time. They might have their license or whatever to pilot a mech stripped from them. There's sometimes a combination of both. There's a number of things that can fucking happen to them. Okay, and I don't have an issue with them disobeying orders unless they. Well, there's really two things that would make it okay with me. One, they get punished in some way, and two, the situation from me as a viewer would seem more in their favor. Here, it's clear he was just blatantly disobeying orders. And he comes off as a fucking hypocrite because he was in the previous episode telling our main female character, I'll get that in a second, but telling her that, she's just a civilian, so stay out of it, he's a soldier, he needs to obey orders. But in this episode, he disobeys fucking orders, so he also comes off as a fucking hypocrite. Our main male character is not that likable, okay? I'm sorry, but he's not. Now let's get to our main female character. I don't remember any names, really, and I say main female character very loosely. The reason I say main female character very loosely is because although she's kind of there, and she's kind of a necessity, because she does apparently, for some reason, have to start up the Argevollen mech for our main male character in this episode, which is kind of weird because in the last episode I'm pretty sure it said that he's the only one who can just start it and pilot it, but whatever, he has to fucking start it she has to fucking start it in this episode. That's really her only purpose in this episode, and really for the most part, aside from that, she just seems to be there, okay, with no really overarching purpose for her being there, except for, she was hit on by one of the fucking soldiers in this episode. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Okay. So, she's not too interesting either. None of the other characters so far are. This is only episode 3 of 24 episodes, so I'm not saying that, they have to show lots of character depth right away and develop these characters right away. Okay? But at least they could hint towards having deeper characters and hint towards having character development in some way by episode 3. You'd think they'd be able to do that, or at least make these characters more interesting in some fucking way, okay? And so far they just haven't done that. Next up, the animation isn't that great. I don't know if I mentioned it in my last 2 episode reviews, but yeah, the animation also is not that great. It's okay in certain parts, but it could definitely be a fuck of a lot better. Okay, it really could, and it's really disappointing that it's not. Whew. also the mechs. Now the mechs do look really good. The CG on the mechs I think looks really good, but the mech fights are really fucking boring. Like, I don't know how you can make mech fights boring. This must be the first mech I've ever watched that actually somehow made the mech fights boring. I don't see how that's possible, but somehow Argevollen did it, and wow, man. The mech fights are so fucking boring here. Even like the Argevollen, which you'd think would have more capabilities than the other mechs, like maybe it can fly, maybe it has bigger weapons like giant fucking cannons that can shoot giant fucking missiles and stuff. Maybe it has like a shield function, something else to make it stand out from the other mechs, aside from just its fucking appearance. Seriously, so the mech fights are also not very fucking impressive in this series. So overall, like, this episode was very meh. Like, and I think this series does have potential to be something great. It really does, but they have to introduce something worth giving a shit about. And so far, they just haven't done that. And it's really disappointing. So I'm going to keep up with it. Then again, I rarely drop anime, but I'm definitely going to keep up with it. Hopefully it gets better. And yeah. I'm not sure what this is based off of, actually. If anything, let me check. See, it might be an original work. One second, I'm going to check and see real quick. It's an original work by Zebic, so yeah, it's not really based off of anything. Like, this series, at least so far, is the epitome of generic. And again, that's not usually something that I, of all people, would fucking complain about. But when you're not even making the attempt to do anything interesting. Like, it's just, so far it's just a generic war movie with mechs in anime form. That's seriously what I think about it right now. So I really hope that it gets better. I'm going to wrap up this review right now. I hope you enjoyed it, everyone. See you after, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.